yako?
Nzuri sana, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Very fine indeed.
Okay. Leo unaweza tuambia wewe ni nani? Tuwajulishe kwa wenye hawakujui.
Kamau, the Secretary General of Popular Party of Kenya, Africa Popular Party of Kenya, na mkulima na pia ni mwanabiashara hapa jiji la Nairobi.
Okay. Sasa tuingie kwa politics kidogo.
Okay.
Yeah. Nitakuwa nakuuliza maswali moja, mbili, tatu.
Sawa sawa.
Okay. Swali la kwanza ni is buying politicians going to help Ruto?
Yeah, I think Ruto is using an old trick to try to solve his problems. And I will say this so that I am clear. It is very difficult for Ruto to become a Moi in this generation. And this is what I mean. I think the time Moi was in leadership, he could manage to silence many people by enrolling one individual from every community, and therefore people could be taken to an agenda that Moi wanted. And I think that's the playbook Ruto wants to use. But I can tell you that will not work in this generation, because we are in a generation where people are dynamic, the youth wants results, and so this buying of politicians, which was actually exposed by Osoro, because Osoro said on TV that they bought politicians so that they pass the finance bill. And that is where the problem is. We cannot build a country by corrupting politicians, because if the Kenyans will not get results, then there will be no Kenya to talk about. So for me, I think buying politicians for Ruto will not really help him, because unless he buys all the Kenyans who are really suffering as we speak.
Okay, and what are the political blunders that Ruto is making?
Ruto is making a lot of blunders because, can you pause? Yeah, Ruto is making a lot of blunders. Let me put this off. Because one of the blunders is doing, he is majoring on the minors and then minusing on the majors. And this is what I mean. You can imagine, the other day Ruto was taken by Sakaja to Roysambu to launch school feeding program. You can imagine how much money was used there. All those limousines going to Roysambu, all those V8s and Brados, and all those ministers to launch a school feeding program. I think that is a minor thing that he could have left it to maybe a KKMCA, because surely, why should we be entertained? I mean, there are major things people are doing around the world. Suluhu is launching a pipeline, I think from Uganda to Tanzania. In Dubai, they are making a neck clips, kind of a restaurant. And therefore, this is one of the blunders Ruto is doing. Like, you major on the minors, and then minus on the majors. The other thing, you cannot allow, I mean, I didn't understand why there was too much hula-baloo on the issue of e-citizen. To me, e-citizen is an app, and it should not be, the president should not mobilize millions of shillings to open an app. This is an app which also exists on our website. And therefore, these are blunders that Ruto is doing, and I don't think those two things that I've mentioned have any impact to the majority of Kenyans. School feeding program is a good program, but it should not be launched by the president. There's an MCA of Kenya Kwanza in Roysambu. Let them do those jobs. This issue of e-citizen, it should be launched by, if a very senior person in government, in a department, for example, an officer in the Ministry of Information. But the president mobilizing all the ministers, all the departments, surely, I think that's a letdown to the people of Kenya.
Okay, and what about will Mandamano affect the government of Ruto?
Yes, I think that is the most scary thing in Ruto's government. Because I can tell you, like the recent Mandamano stopped business across the country. And I will tell you this, and this is for free. Anytime there is Mandamano, there is panic. That panic sends out or sends away investors. That's one. Number two, it stops revenue even to come to the government. So Mandamano, it is the only thing that really can shake the government. And I think because they have worked before, when in 1992 we were given multi-party, the Section 2A was repealed because of Mandamano. We had a constitution because of Mandamano. Now we want the cost of living to come down, and I know it will come down because Kenya will come to a stop very soon. And number two, and the other point is, Mandamano will also make sure that these people we give power and delegated positions, they listen to the people of Kenya because they seem to be out of touch with what is happening on the ground. So Mandamano for me is affecting and will affect the government of Kenya Kwanza. So let him not take it lightly. I'll advise him for free. Please listen to the people of Kenya. Kenyans are on the blink, and you know what happens when a hungry man is hungry. That is what is going to happen in the coming Mandamanos.
And what opinion of God shopping the finance bill?
Yeah, the finance bill was stopped, and I think this is good because for me, I think this finance bill was poorly crafted. To use a simple language, I think it was designed to destabilize everybody. Because if you're an employer, you are complaining. If you're an employee, you are complaining. Mama Mboga is complaining. Mutua Boda is complaining. Farmers are complaining. Then what kind of a finance bill is this? And you see, the funny thing about this finance bill is that the Kenya Kwanza government is so obsessed with the subsidies of fertilizer, which does not affect all the Kenyans. If, for example, us in Nairobi, where do we go? Where do we take the fertilizer? It is a good thing for the people in the farms, but the people who live in the estate, sure, they don't need those subsidies of fertilizer. They need to lower tokens, the electricity bills, fuel, and to lower the cost of living. Simple as that. That is what people are looking for. And people think that subsidy is a Kenyan problem. Even in the United States, Google, it is there. People are given subsidy. So we are so happy with the courts. And I hope they continue like this because they should stand for the truth and for the rule of law. Let them not be intimidated because we know now we are in the era of intimidation and fear. And therefore, this thing should be repealed and relooked and negotiated between the parties that are being affected.
And what do you want to the people over there outside?
Yeah, I have one message to the people of Kenya. When Kenya bans, we all ban. When we are all affected, when something happens, we are all affected. We are now being affected by the cost of living. And when Raila and ODINGA and the opposition and the civil society calls for Mandamano, just participate. I'm calling upon the people of Kenya to, number one, do this. If you cannot join in a Mandamano, then there are other ways of kuandamana. For example, civil disobedience. Kama wewe ni mtu wa biashara, on 12th, stop moving. Don't stop that car. Park it so that they feel the pinch and they listen to the people of Kenya. That is all I want to tell the people of Kenya. We have one country and we have to get it right this time around. We are fighting for the liberation, and I think this is the third and the final liberation for Kenya, so that people stop running away from Kenya and live in a country where everybody matters. I think Kenya is enough, has enough for each and every person, and has enough space for each and every person. The issues we are being told about houses and stuff like that are not a priority. And therefore I'm telling Kenyans, wakati tumeitwa tusimame na ukweli. Let us all come out. Those who can go to Mandamano, they go. Those who can put sufuria on their head, they put. Those who cannot go to work, don't go to work. Just make sure the government listens to us, and that we are the people, and we are the business people who are being affected each and every day, and we need change in this country. Because what is there to benefit if we have a country that is corrupt? People are saying that Mandamano inaharibu biashara. Hakuna kitu inaharibu biashara sana kama wizi katika serikali. When people steal from the public coffers, that destroys businesses, destroys life. That is where we don't have NHIF. That is where there is no NSSF, and there's nothing that is working in the country. So we have to have proper utilization of Kenyan resources, and that is what we are talking about. So Mandamano does not destroy businesses. It is corruption that destroys businesses. Let us distinguish these things. Lazima tutofautishe maneno. Maandamano inasaidia nchi, ndio sababu tuko na constitution mpya, tuko na counties, lakini wizi wa mali ya umma inaharibu nchi na inafanya watu wasipate kazi na wasiendelee katika kukua katika nchi. And that is all I have to say.